Welcome back to Living and Investing in Cancun. This time around, we are shining a light on another development project located in the heart of Playa del Carmen, named Xelest. And if by now you are a longtime subscriber to the channel, you'll know that in this video we will be talking all about what Xelest has to offer, as well as what Playa del Carmen itself has to offer, so that hopefully by the end of this video, we will have helped you arrive at your own conclusion as to whether or not it might be right for you. Stay tuned. Hey again everybody, my name is Frank, I am the man in the chair, and I am partnered with the lovely Diana, a licensed agent with Net Real Estate, and we help people just like you who are wanting to either live or invest in Cancun or its surrounding areas find that perfect spot. So do not hesitate. Whether you are 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. It is what we love to do. So yes, as mentioned in this video, we will be talking all about Xelest. And the reason it's kind of a hard thing to say is because it's not spelled with a C, as you would imagine. The first letter is an X, so it's Xelest instead of Celeste. But I guess at least you've got to give them points for being cool. Now, ultimately, I should say this video will probably be shorter than a majority of the other videos we've made on this channel, simply because, as lovely as this project is, there's just less to talk about. For example, in other videos, we'll spend several minutes talking about the price list, and other videos we'll spend several minutes talking about the varying floor plans. But in the case of Xelest, the floor plans, for example, are just one. Well, technically two. You can have it either 3 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms with extra space, but the floor plan is the same, right? And in terms of pricing, there really is just one price. So the entire price list is almost irrelevant because you're paying the same across the board. With all of that said though, yes, of course, nonetheless, we are still going to talk about Xelest, what it has to offer, what it looks like, the amenities, so on and so forth. So let's waste no more time and get right to it, starting with the subject of location. As mentioned, it is located in the heart of Playa del Carmen, and because we've made many videos by now about Playa del Carmen, I will have the segment talking about its location and what Playa has to offer in case you're new to the channel, but assuming you are a longtime subscriber, feel free to skip ahead. In case you didn't know, Playa del Carmen is a very popular destination, both for residential and tourism. It's a very livable city with a great quality of life. It has a loaded downtown life, and because the city is located on the coastline, you have easy access to the beach as well. This makes Playa a little bit unique because take Cancun, for example. Of course, it is relatively near ocean. That's what everybody pictures when they think of Cancun, but its actual downtown is a bit removed from the shoreline. In Playa del Carmen, you also have the very popular 5th Avenue. It is totally pedestrian. It is a famous street full of restaurants, shopping, nightlife. What's interesting as well about Playa is that it really does lend itself to most lifestyles. In addition to all of the aforementioned things, it even has cool little spots for foodies which are blossoming, an abundance of public beaches as well, not privatized by hotels, but of course you also have the option of beach clubs. It has an element of professionalism in addition to, of course, the tourism. It even has recently installed cycling lanes for safety, which is the type of thing you'd see in a place like Portland or Austin. And worth mentioning, one of its major industries is actually healthcare. You've got an abundance of hospitals and doctors, and of course, while most places everywhere are getting more and more and more expensive, Playa is no different. However, in contrast to a lot of the booming places in the United States, for example, Playa is still relatively considered affordable. In addition to that, similar to a place like Tulum, for example, which is also part of this larger, more broad area called Riviera Maya, it has a culture of people interested in things like holistic medicine, an alternative lifestyle, spiritualism, etc. Not only that, Playa del Carmen is great for families too. It even has early childhood education, a great amount of diversity. I mean, you're going to see a lot of Americans there as well, and great residential communities, perhaps more so than other cities within Riviera Maya. Worth mentioning as well, and because of all of the things I just talked about, Playa del Carmen is among the top tourist destinations worldwide, and it accounts for 50% of Mexico's overall tourism rates, averaging around 6.5 million tourists per year, and on average about 76% occupancy of vacation rentals. It has 10 world-class natural and theme parks, protected biospheres, nature reserves, around 400 hotels and resorts, so on and so so forth, seeing a population growth of 110% in the past 10 years and around 425% in the past 20, which makes it basically the fastest growing place in all of Latin America, with an annual average population growth rate of 8.4%, averaging between 10 and 30% of annual return on investment. Alright, with the albeit brief summary of Playa del Carmen, what it's about and what it has to offer out of the way, now let's talk about the project itself, Xelest. As mentioned a number of times by now, yes, Xelest is located in the heart of Playa del Carmen, deliberately being built at the center of where everything is really beginning to bloom and explode with popularity and tourism. Something I find interesting about Xelest is that yes, of course they do focus on things like ROI, high value appreciation, rental opportunities for passive income. However, Xelest is interesting in my opinion because unlike the majority of projects we've talked about on this channel, if you ask me, I would actually say the larger idea or intention of Xelest is for it to be lived in as a primary residence. A very rare thing on this channel. Not to say any of the other places we talk about on this channel could be used as primary residences, but it's never really seemed at the forefront, at least in terms of intention behind the project goes. Whereas this one, in my opinion, it reminds me a lot of an apartment complex. Just a really nice one located near the ocean, as opposed to the suburb of whichever city you live in the United States. As far as amenities, Xelest offers what's called their amenities tower, essentially a building with multiple floors and of course an elevator, and on each floor is one of their differing amenities. There is a fully equipped gym, there's a massage room, a business center, a yoga room, a steam room, and an after-hours sports bar. After hours, of course, meaning that while some other amenities close at a certain time, the sports bar will remain open late. Now, of course, the aforementioned amenities within the tower are not the only amenities that are part of this project. You will have a 50-meter pool, which in my opinion is stunning. You'll have a jacuzzi as well, an area for children to play, assigned parking, grilling area and a grilling lounge, and even a paddle court. But of course, if you were to ever grow tired of all of the amenities it has to offer, yes, you are located to pretty much anything else you want to do in Playa del Carmen, which again is just booming. Now, something I briefly mentioned earlier in this video that I will now elaborate further on would be that yes, all of these units are the same, except you have two options of the same unit. I realize that sounds confusing and contradictory, so let me explain. For starters, all units are a spacious 1,300 square feet. At its core, at its skeleton in the blueprint, they are essentially the same floor plan. Both will have a kitchen, both will have a dining room, both will have a hall, both will have a terrace, both will have a minimum of 2 bedrooms, one of which is a main bedroom. The only difference is you will have the option of going with the plan that maximizes the remaining open space and turns it into a 3rd bedroom, or going with the plan that remains at 2 bedrooms and uses that extra space as what they call a TV hall. Essentially, same square footage, but do you want the floor plan to feel more open with 2 bedrooms or maximize the space for a 3rd? Otherwise, that's really all you have to know. Worth mentioning as well is that all units, regardless of which variation you choose, will have a view of the amenities of the pool, the jacuzzi, the tower, and so on, which I think is pretty nice. And in my opinion, also kind of resembles what I was mentioning earlier about it kind of being like an apartment complex, as opposed to other projects we've talked about on this channel that have differing views, some incredible and some less than desirable. As also mentioned at the start of this video, all units are the exact same price. So honestly, showing you guys a price list is a bit unnecessary. Of course, yes, the price list will show which floor it's on, but usually the floor, the view, etc. will influence the price and make it different across the board. In this case, all the views are aimed at the amenities, all the square footage is the same, and thus the price reflects it. And in case you've missed the price tag in the thumbnail of this video, what you get for all of the aforementioned amenities, the location of the project itself, and 1,300 square feet is a locked-in price of right around $179,000. Now, truth be told, at least in my opinion, that is what is most appealing about this. Not to say the rest of the project itself isn't appealing, because it absolutely is, but a majority of the other projects we've talked about that do start as low as the 100s and then go up from there, that price tag gets you a much smaller size, considerably smaller, and typically a studio unit. At best, maybe 1 bedroom, but certainly not 1,300 square feet, and certainly not a spacious 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom unit. And understandably, after everything I just mentioned, you might be asking yourself, as at least I would ask myself, what's the catch? Well, not to sound like a sleazy salesman, but there really isn't any catch, I suppose, other than a bunch of these units already selling out. To no surprise, in my opinion. You know, when things like this pop up, people are quick to jump on it. And of course, depending on when you're watching this video, assuming many of you seeing this are not seeing this the day this video was released, but perhaps weeks or months after, it's entirely possible that it'll all be sold out by then, but I did my damnedest while there was still some availability left. But otherwise, and ultimately, there you have it. A brief overview of Xelest, what it's about, what it has to offer, a general idea, as well as, of course, what there is to know about Playa del Carmen, so that yes, you can arrive at your own conclusion as to whether or not this project, or Playa del Carmen itself, might be right for you. And that's the thing. It's okay if it's not. You might prefer something more laid back like Tulum. You might prefer someplace more hustle and bustly like Cancun. You might prefer a plot of land. You might prefer a high-rise condo with ocean views. You might prefer a more luxurious premium product, or you might prefer something even more affordable than this. And yes, that is what we are here for, helping people just like you who are wanting to either live or invest in Cancun or its surrounding areas find that perfect spot. But again, the only way we can do that is, yes, by you reaching out to us. So do not hesitate. Whether you are 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. And yes, if you haven't been able to tell by now, on this channel we talk about living and investing in Cancun, so consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and ringing that little bell to get notified anytime we put out a new video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Click the like button if we've been providing any value for you. Share it with anybody you know. And until the next one, you guys, my name is Frank. This is indeed Living and Investing in Cancun, and we will absolutely catch you later.